This volunteer experience is like none other. It's not a regular volunteer. You get to interact with children and truly impact their lives.
It's really fun. You actually learn a bunch of new things. I know my first time doing the field trip, I was just overwhelmed. I was like, wow, this is just so much, and like just hanging out with the kids, something new.
Like for a lot of volunteer things, they feel like kind of work, but when you get here, you're with the kids, their energy brings you up, and then the time just flies by, and then it's 1 o'clock, and then you're done, and you're like, I had a great time.
It's really exciting to volunteer at these field trips. The kids are really happy to be here on UT, and they get exposed to a different environment, and they see different lessons that they don't experience in the classroom, so they like the hands-on learning that they get here.
It's a good, rewarding experience.
Oh, to volunteer? Oh, it's great. I mean, when you first see the students come, you're like, oh my God, it's overwhelming because you get so many students, and then all of a sudden, like, you start building a small bond with the students, and then at the end of the field trip, you're like, oh, it's like, hey guys, sorry, I have to go, you know, and you don't want them to go, you know.
I think someone should participate because it's one of the most fun volunteering experiences that I think there is around. It's not going to some random park and picking up trash, which is great. It's good to clean up our environment, but you're really having an impact on these kids, and you're getting to interact with other people, the kids, the teachers, the other volunteers here, which I think is really cool. And you're also learning something new, usually either learning something about UT or learning something about energy. I learned a whole lot about different plants in the greenhouse that I had no idea before, and I really love sharing those stories with other people because I think they're very interesting. So I think it's a very rewarding experience.
Students who are pursuing a degree in teaching or wanting to teach with their degree, I think it'd be a really great experience to volunteer at this event. You get to learn a lot and be able to gain experience in teaching students here on campus. It's a bit of work, but it's really fulfilling in the end. For those students who aren't interested in going to teaching and have other degree plans in mind, it's still a great experience because you learn a lot. You learn to be leaders. You know, you're in charge of a group of students or a group of people and have to get to places on time and get them to follow directions. So you learn you learn good leadership skills.
The kids are amazing. You're helping them a lot, and then you're learning also how to manage a big group of students. I think if you can manage a group of students, you can manage speaking in front of a whole audience.
I feel like it's subtle, but that doesn't make it less beneficial. Like the kids come here and then they see like all the students, the college kids, like walking around, going to class, sitting outside, you know, reading, and then they get to experience like what our life is like. And I feel like that sparks their curiosity to like, you know, maybe end up here one day.
I think these field trips are really meaningful for a lot of the kids. A lot of them come from environments that aren't very well funded or don't necessarily have a lot of the you can do anything you want in the world attitude about them. So I think it's really great for them to come to college and see that there are so many different types of people here, getting their own education, studying what they want to study, and also seeing that there are a lot of cool things you can learn in science. It's not just writing numbers down on a sheet of paper and solving math problems. There's a lot of hands-on applications that can really affect our future and the future of the world in general.
The field trips are helping the kids to encourage them to either be scientists or engineers, any kind of major that they want. The main goal of the field trips is to encourage them to jump out of their, I guess, nest into the real world.
We're actually giving them knowledge. We're passing knowledge to them. So by doing this field trip, they're actually bringing something back, maybe to their friends, to their family. They're actually teaching their community what sustainability is.
I think it's great that we're bringing in students at such an early age to show them what college is like and teach them fun things about science. I think it'll motivate them to do well in school so they could possibly go to college and or pursue a degree in science as well.
I am amazed by how cool these field trips are. If I were that age, I just wish that I would have had that opportunity when I was younger. I mean, our goal is to help promote that in them, to maybe spark that interest in them so that they can grow up and want to become scientists or physicists or just go to university, hopefully UT even, and take these STEM courses and succeed.
I wanted to do this because I feel like I have something that I can share to other people. Like it's different when you share it with younger people. They look up to you, and I feel like I can positively impact their lives from the experience I know growing up from a kid till now.
I signed up for it on a whim. My advisor told me, it's like, hey, like, here's some coursework you could do. So I just went ahead and did it without knowing what it was. And I ended up loving it. I've been doing it for 3 years now.
I think it's really fun. I really love working with kids in general. And it's really great to see how excited they can be with the material that they're learning here, and just see how much they're enjoying the experience of learning. And I think it's wonderful to watch children learn something new and to see how fresh and how different that may be from something that they've learned before. So I just really love working with kids. I think it's a really rewarding experience, and I think it can be really invigorating to see them learn something new and to teach them something that they hadn't thought about before, and see how that really affects their perspective or affects their educational experience in general.
Well, I really enjoy the You Teach classroom, so volunteering was doing a little bit more than just teaching in the classroom, so it was a great experience being able to volunteer and give back.
I went in just completely blind. I had no idea what was going to happen. And after that one time, I absolutely loved it. So I just came for more, and I actually started working for them. So
My favorite part about volunteering We Teach Outreach is not only do I impact the children's lives, they do make a big impact in my life as well. I don't only learn things that day, it carries on through my life after that.
Like for a lot of volunteer things, they feel like kind of work, but when you get here, you're with the kids, their energy brings you up, and then the time just flies by, and then it's 1 o'clock and then you're done, and you're like, I had a great time.
My favorite part is just teaching the kids. They're usually really excited. They have really interesting questions that a lot of college kids might not necessarily think of, so it's cool to see how their brains work and how they think about this material. And they're usually really excited, and it's fun to give that energy back to them.
The kids, of course, the smiles, the expressions that they make when they come to the greenhouse, as well as the different events that offers the field trips.
My favorite part of volunteering has been being able to teach the students and interact with them, be able to ask them questions and have them answer back. It was really fun.
My favorite part about volunteering would be actually interacting with the students outside of the actual lesson, getting to talk to them, to get them pumped up and excited about UT, about college, about science. So that's definitely my favorite part.
My role during these volunteer field trips, I served as a leader to show that the children have someone to look up to, someone positive that they know that they could someday become.
My role so far for volunteering has been leading the tours. So like I pick up the kids and then I take them from station to station and just make sure they're all paying attention to the lessons and make sure we don't get any stragglers.
So I'm an intern at You Teach Outreach, so I help plan the field trips and plan the schedules for what the kids are going to do when they get here. Last semester I largely worked at the greenhouse, which is back there, leading the greenhouse tours, telling kids about plant adaptations and sustainability and all the cool plants that we have in there. This semester I've done some of that. I've also trained a couple other people so they can run the greenhouse, and then I've also been more of a supervisory role, running around helping whatever group needs help.
For the field trips, I was in charge of the greenhouse, and pretty much I work all the field trips in the greenhouse.
I was a tour guide and I helped teach the energy stations as well. I made sure all the students arrived to their next station on time.
Well, I lead a field trip like today, so I guide them. I take them to the turtle pond or to energy transformations, not or and. There is the NSC primary You Teach lesson that they have, and then we take pictures, we have their lunch break, so that's what we do, and then we take them back to the bus. I also teach the energy transformations stage of the field trip sometimes, so sometimes I just stay there and I teach it over and over to different classes, or the turtle pond. I kind of work my way around. I've been doing this for a while, so just wherever they need me.
My role in the field trip, I was a lead tour guide. So I got to lead the students around the campus, but at the same time I got to teach them small science lessons. Like the first science lesson that I did with them was I took them to the turtle pond, and I showed the students the ecosystem that the turtles live, and also how all the living and non-living things interact together to survive. After that, I got to take them to the energy station so they could see how energy conversion works.
I help teach the kids that it's okay to ask for help, even if you are afraid to. It's better to understand things clearly than to be confused.
I've done turtle pond and energy transformations. For turtle pond specifically, I feel like a lot of the kids already know the material, but when you're teaching it, there's like some words that they haven't heard before, like interdependence or sustainability. Like if you explain the definition, they know what they mean, but you just gotta like convey the information in the right way, and they'll be like, oh, okay, I get it.
So I worked the energy station a couple of times, so I taught them about different types of energies and how energy is converted from one to the other, and also taught them about sustainability and how energy is renewable.
So 3 things I've taken away from this experience is leadership, confidence in myself, and how to manage a group of kids.
What I've learned through this experience is do not be afraid to take on a task that you've never done before. At first it was different and maybe a little scary, but after I've gone through the obstacles, I found that I can overcome these bumps in the road, and it was fine in the end.
Ability to communicate to kids and to teachers. Like sometimes, like when I'm teaching, like it's just how I convey that information and then like communicate with the teacher so I can like be the most efficient in teaching. So it's just communicating within people. It's very beneficial.
I think there would be 2 main things that I've gotten out of this, and one would be the opportunity to interact with a lot of kids. I have a niece at home that I take care of a lot, and I really love spending time with her. I really love watching her grow up, but it's great to see a lot of other kids from a lot of different environments and different backgrounds, and just seeing how they interact with each other and how they interact with us and what they are here to do, what they're here to learn. I also think I personally have learned a lot from this experience, both academic knowledge and how to interact with kids and how to interact with other people, and I think that can carry over in a lot of other social aspects as well.
Engaging with kids and other people has actually made me feel more confident about myself.
I wasn't expecting to have such a great time with the kids, you know.
Well, during this experience, I didn't expect to want to do teaching, but I have thought about it. Instead of maybe pursuing my other career options, I also may look into teaching as well in the future.
So I've learned that it takes a lot to be a teacher, so if I want to pursue that, it will be tough, but it's really fulfilling and I really enjoyed it.
I feel like I gained better communication skills. I've always thought I could be able to communicate to people my age, but communicating to children is a totally different type of communication. So I've definitely gained that skill, I think.
My ability in communicating with people is a lot sharper, and I'm quicker to pick up on it, especially when I'm putting new situations with different people and I have to convey information. I feel like I can do that a lot faster.
This has been a really good learning experience for me. I think I've taken away, I've learned how to be a better teacher, how to not only teach kids, but also when you're trying to help explain a problem to a peer, or you're trying to work through a challenging situation, or you're trying to study together in class. I think I've learned how to approach that situation a lot better, which is good for me as an individual. I also think I've learned a lot about the Austin community in general and the community of children that we have here, and what their situation is like and what it's like to be a kid again, because you kind of forget about that once you get all down in your academics and trying to graduate and get a degree and get a job. You forget how cool it is to just go on a field trip to a cool place and learn some fun lessons while you're there.
And it's great with communication skills as well, because you have to communicate to the students and make sure they are understanding what you're saying, and when you're teaching them, bring it to a level where they understand. And when you're talking to your peers and other people that are volunteering as well, you have to really be able to communicate so that you're at your destination on time. So this experience helps bring out good leadership skills, helps people be punctual, and also helps on communication skills.
I mean, I'm learning a lesson plan and teaching them to students, and I'm also learning how to speak and get control back of my class, that maybe they're like, when they're at the turtle pond, they're all excited doing their notes, and then eventually I have to bring them back so we could continue with the tour. So other skills like public speaking, you learn how to lesson plan, and at the same time you're planning. Even though you have a plan outlined, you have to learn how to plan on top of that planned outline, because sometimes you might run over time, sometimes you might finish early. So it's just like it's a real world application, you know.
I know for energy transformations, like I learned how using a windmill that's actually sustainable, so you can actually use wind energy and it actually won't run out.
I think the best thing, most interesting thing that I learned during the field trips was about the turtle pond, actually. I had no idea that the turtle pond was its own ecosystem, that we didn't have to put anything in to make it work. So I thought that was really interesting that we had this micro ecosystem on UT that we could watch and learn from and experience.
In the turtle pond where I took the kids, the turtles, in order to survive, they interact with all the living and non-living things, and that was like you know it, but you don't understand it. But so yeah.
So thanks to the UT Outreach field trip program, I learned that sustainability, it's something that we need to protect and take care of it, since not all the resources that we have are sustainable.
I refreshed my mind on a lot of things that I had put aside. I did learn a lot of things in the greenhouse because I've never been in there before, so that was really interesting.
Before you can go on a field trip to teach these children, you first need to know the content of the information so that you can be able to portray the information effectively and clearly so the children can actually learn something from that lesson. So basically you have to practice. Practice does make perfect.
Like 2 weeks beforehand, they'll give us the papers and tell us, oh, okay, so this is what you're going to be learning. And so we go over it at home, at school, when we have time, and we just learn it.
Then when you get there, you have to get a feel for the children. You got to know the environment of the classroom, how you could be able to interact with them, because every classroom is different. It's never going to be the same group of children you have every time. So one thing is getting a feel for the classroom and be able to feel comfortable so that you can teach a lesson effectively.
First up, we go pick up the kids from the buses, and then we bring them over to a station, for example, Energy Transformations, and we take out some equipment and we go over it, like what exactly is taking place, and then we take them to the tower to take a picture, and then they have lunch, and we give them time to go to the restroom, and then we take them back to the buses.
We have to meet at the bus stop area before 10, and we pick up the students there. We walk them to their destinations, which include the turtle pond area, the greenhouse area, the energy sustainability area, and like science projects that go on in Painter. So we walk them there, we get them there on time, and sometimes we're able to teach and ask questions and have them interact back with us.
And little by little you get to know them, you build a little bond. You take them, like my guide, I went to the turtle pond, and then from the turtle pond, we took them to the greenhouse so they could see some plants. At the same time, they got a small tour of one of the buildings that a lot of students study in. Then I got to take them to an energy station where they get the hands-on activity, and then lunchtime, and then sadly, I take them back to the bus so they can head out.
We want them to grow up and be successful and be part of those STEM fields that we need.
It helps the kids to learn about different experiences and encourage them to go to UT, or if not UT, to a different college. So
it's a lot of fun because different students, different personalities and backgrounds.